hanga ki runga ki tēnā o tātā. He honore, he whororia, he maungarongo ki runga ki te mata o te whenua, he whakaro pai ki ngā tangata katoa. Arohaina ngā teina, me ngā tuakana, e noho nei rungi te whakaro ko tahi pai mari.
Please be seated. E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā iwi o ngā hauewha, tēnei aku mihi mahana ki o koutou, nau mai, hara mai, ki te whare o te kāwana tianara, kei whanganui e tara. Tēnā rā koutou katoa. Distinguished guests, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to Government House Wellington for today's investiture ceremony. I'd like to specifically acknowledge the Honourable Simon Watts, Minister of the Crown, Commissioner Andrew Costa, New Zealand Police, Mr Joe Harawira, our kaumātua, and Ms Puhi Wahine Tipa, our kuia. Tēnā koutou katoa. Hosting investiture ceremonies is one of the most important duties I perform on behalf of His Majesty, the King of New Zealand. I'm delighted to bring together such an extraordinary group of New Zealanders. You have each brought pride and a greater sense of well-being to Aotearoa through your outstanding contributions and your achievements to our communities. On behalf of New Zealanders, I extend my sincerest thanks to you for these contributions. After each recipient is honoured, I invite you to join with me in congratulating them. Ms Catriona McLeod will now summon the recipients and read their citations.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Professor Brian Anderson of Auckland, for services to paediatrics and anaesthesia. Professor Brian Anderson is a paediatric anaesthesiast and intensive care specialist. He was a founding consultant at Auckland Starship Hospital and co-established the hospital's paediatric intensive care unit. He set up the hospital's acute pain service and the resuscitation and trauma committee, and played an important role starting Starship's paediatric cardiac surgical unit. He's a professor of anesthesiology at the University of Auckland. He has numerous publications in international journals and textbooks, as well as book and journal editorial efforts. The body of work has informed clinical practice in New Zealand and worldwide. He's a member of international review and safety committees, grant assessment boards, and national advisory committees. Professor Anderson has volunteered to provide paediatric anesthesia and intensive care assistance to surgical teams in the Pacific. Professor Brian Anderson, please come forward. Excellency, to receive the insignia of an Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mr. Philip Clark of Auckland, for services to arts governance. Philip Clark was an arts advisor with Toi Aotearoa Creative New Zealand and its precursor, and was a key figure in establishing Object Space in Auckland, New Zealand's only public gallery dedicated to craft object art. He was Object Space's inaugural director, leading the organisation to a well-established institution that has lifted the profile of New Zealand craft. He is chairman of the Blumhardt Foundation, which fosters the craft sector through funding and advocacy programs. He has instigated a range of initiatives supporting artists. He is a trustee of the New Zealand Fashion Museum, the Mansion House Foundation, supporting the preservation of the Kawau Island Institution and The Big Idea, an online hub for the creative industries. Mr. Clark has written and edited crafts-related publications across numerous platforms. Mr. Philip Clark, please come forward. Dr. Will Edwards of Hawera for services to Māori health. Dr. Will Edwards, Taranaki, Ngā Hine, Tanga Hoi, Pakakahi, Ngāti Ruanui, is a director of Māori health and social service provider Tui Ora Limited. As chair of the Ageing Well National Science Challenge, he has led Ageing Well through Phase 2, focusing on ageing and Māori and health and well-being in ageing. He has been an iwi chair for Ngā Hine Iwi, a trustee of Te Raupani Māori Mental Health Trust, and a community representative on the Te Tai Hauauru Regional Leadership Group for Whanau Ora. His doctoral research was one of the first academic works to articulate positive ageing from a Māori viewpoint. His research has been influential in policy and service delivery. Dr. Edwards is part of the Māori Health Committee of the Health Research Council of New Zealand. Dr. Will Edwards, please come forward. Mr. Robert Holding of Auckland for services to Pacific literature and business. Robert Holding has contributed to the promotion and publication of Pacific literature through his Pacifica Bookshop store and publishing company Pacifica Press. He's coordinated the expertise of Pacific writers, academics, and artists to publish more than 20 original works. His first book, Tala o Le Vavau, The Myths, Legends, and Customs of Old Samoa, sold more than 20,000 copies. The most significant project has been the English and Samoan translation of Kramer, The Samoa Islands, Volumes 1 and 2. He's assisted in the establishment of bookshops in Samoa, American Samoa, Fiji, Vanuatu, Tonga, and Niue, and assisted with the University of South Pacific regional training workshops for writers, publishers, and booksellers. Mr. Holding has developed joint publishing and distribution agreements to continue the publication of Pacific books. Mr. Robert Holding, please come forward. Ms. Mary Jane Rivers of Otaki for services to community-led development, governance and education. Mary Jane Rivers helped found the North Island's first women's refuge. She was the first policy director in the Ministry for Women and first CEO of Citizens Advice Bureau before consulting on social and organizational development. She founded Inspiring Communities and served on the board. The organization has demonstrated the value and impact of locally led development, including responses to equity, climate change, and economic development. She was a founding trustee of He Puawai with Kokiri Marae, building food resilience in the Hutt Valley. She has been involved with adult and community education and chairs REAP Aotearoa. She's a respected consultant internationally, working on strengthening communities across the Pacific, Asia, Africa, and Eastern Europe. Ms. Rivers helped to establish and served on the board of international development agency Union Aid. Ms. Mary Jane Rivers, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Ms. Pam Hanna of Lower Hutt for services to the community and early childhood education. Pam Hanna was National President of the New Zealand Play Centre Federation and was appointed inaugural Chief Executive of the Early Childhood Development Unit. Under her leadership, the unit supported centres to serve diverse communities and provided professional learning and development for practitioners. She authored the book, Thinking Together, Quality Adult-Child Interactions, which continues to be used as a resource for early education practitioners. She's been involved with Lower Hutt community initiatives, revitalising the Petone Planning Action Group and Petone Rotary Fair. As chair of the Petone Community Board, Ms. Hanna advocated for the redevelopment of Petone Wharf and Library and raised awareness of historic buildings and precincts. Ms. Pam Hanna, please come forward. Mr. Richard Keddle of Tauranga in absentia for services to orthopaedics. Richard Keddle is a practicing orthopaedic surgeon. His landmark publication on the management of tibial fractures influenced the standard of care worldwide. He was clinical director of orthopaedics for the Bay of Plenty District Health Board and president of the New Zealand Knee Society. He was a member and national president of the New Zealand Orthopaedic Association. As the Speciality Orthopaedic Training Board chair, he increased the diversity of surgeons practicing orthopaedics. He became the only honorary member of the Ladies in Orthopaedics New Zealand in recognition of his mentorship, advocacy and fiscal support. Mr. Keddle is chair and trustee of the Wishbone Orthopaedic Research Foundation. Mr. Keddle has been delayed and will receive his award in the private ceremony shortly. Her Excellency wished Mr. Keddle's achievements to be shared with all this afternoon's guests. Mr. Aaron Nicholson of Wanaka for services to the New Zealand Police and Search and Rescue. Aaron Nicholson was employed with the New Zealand Police and served as Officer in Charge and Search and Rescue, or SAR Coordinator in Wanaka, servicing Mount Aspiring National Park. During his tenure, Mr. Nicholson managed more than 600 SAR operations. He's volunteered with Wanaka SAR since his retirement from police, including time as chair. Under his leadership, Wanaka SAR raised around $4 million and created specialist integrated teams for alpine cliff rescue, swift water canyon rescue, subalpine bush, and an incident management team. He is a New Zealand Land SAR incident management tutor, delivering training nationally. Mr. Nicholson helped found the Southern Alps Rescue Trust and remains a trustee. Mr. Aaron Nicholson, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the Queen's Service Medal, Mrs. Heniaka August of Porirua for services to Māori and the community. Heniaka August, Ngāti Kahungunu ki te Wairoa, Rango Mai Wahine, is the coordinator for the Ngāti Toa Māori Wardens in Porirua. She's coordinated the Wardens on several major events, supporting the Royal New Zealand Police College with events including tangi, remembrance days, police recruit graduations, and open days. She has helped patrol the Te Tahi Bay Beach Festival, Creek Fest, and Māori Language Week parades, as well as police-led operations. She provides advice to police recruits on working with Māori youth and performs the kaikaranga during Pōwhiri. Mrs. August is a mentor for the Porirua Pacific Community Patrollers. Mrs. Heniaka August, please come forward. Mr. Russell Gange of Carterton for services to swimming and rugby. Russell Gange served as a Carterton Swimming Club office bearer, fundraiser, and builder of the club's indoor pool. He's held positions of club captain, chairman, and president with the Carterton Amateur Swim Club. He's organised masters competitions and been selector, timekeeper, referee, and judge. He established Russell Gange Swim Academy with several swim teams and individuals he's coached, reaching success in competitions. He's been engaged by Carterton schools to provide learn-to-swim lessons for young children. Mr. Gange has played rugby and coached for the Carterton Rugby Club for several decades. Mr. Russell Gange, please come forward. Mrs. Teremoana Maua Hodges of Porirua for services to sport and culture. Teremoana Maua Hodges is a long-standing secretary of the Cook Islands Sport Federation of New Zealand. She was one of the first Pacific women to become a New Zealand umpire for netball. She coached the top team of the Porirua Cook Islands Association in the local Kapimana Netball Association in Porirua. She helped establish and chairs Korero Tupuna Trust, which develops educational opportunities through the promotion of Cook Islands languages and culture. She hosts Te Reo Tupuna free online classes available nationwide and internationally, and offers in-person classes for learners. Mrs. Maua Hodges is a writer for Huia Publishers. Mrs. Teremoana Maua Hodges, please come forward. Your Excellency, the investiture has concluded.
New Zealand's honours system is our highest public affirmation of outstanding individual achievement. It reinforces those things that make our society better: service, manaakitanga, and the pursuit of excellence. To our recipients, it has been a privilege to hear your stories, You have each used your talents and abilities to improve the lives of fellow New Zealanders. In doing so, you embody the sentiment expressed by St. Francis of Assisi when he said, "Remember that when you leave this earth, you can take with you nothing that you have received, only what you have given, a full heart enriched by honest service, love, sacrifice, and courage." I urge recipients to wear your insignia with pride at every opportunity, knowing that you inspire others by your example. On behalf of the King of New Zealand and all New Zealanders, I congratulate you on your achievements, and I thank you once again for your service to our country. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa. Now you will see on the back of your program the national anthem in Te Reo Māori and in English. I now invite you to stand with me and sing them both.